There's no reason to have irrational fear.
So a big takeaway, I think, from this conversation is learn to trust yourself. First of all, when you are in that parking lot and you feel uneasy and somebody is, you feel threatened in a way, then, social norms aside, protect yourself first.
Yeah.
Let's talk about fear a little bit. Is it just do it anyway, feel the fear and do it anyway? Or what purpose does this fear serve for human survival?
Oh, fear's, Gavin DeBecker said it best in his book, it is a gift. Fear is a gift, and you have to look at it. The problem is people confuse fear with what they're really concerned about. What they're really concerned about is freezing. They're really concerned about being in a situation that's not only fearful, but they don't know what to do and they have no skill sets to deal with it. And that's the real problem. Fear is an amazing motivator. The fear actually motivates us because we know our subject matter. We know to get out there. We know what we want to share. That's the problem with most people when it comes to, say, fear of harm to themselves or something. Oftentimes they haven't looked at any subject matter. They don't know what to do in situations like that. And so a lack of knowledge is what causes the freezing of people. The fear itself, though, is something you should absolutely not only listen to, but be extremely glad that you have it. These people that say, no fear and all that, that's ridiculous. I mean, you want fear. Fear is probably the reason, I know guys at the highest levels of the special operations world, they always have fear. It's a great motivator.
It gets you present,
Absolutely.
In the moment.
Absolutely.
It also is a signal that, like you said, maybe we need to know something that we don't know, or maybe we need to prepare.
And hormonally and everything, you get optimized real quick. You get the adrenaline jump, you get everything there. And if you know what to do with all of that,
right,
it can be really, really positive. Where people have a problem is when they fear something so much that they won't even look at the subject. They're going to rely on hope.
Right.
And hope is a horrible strategy, when it comes to that. Not just, and I'm not even talking about life or death type of things that I talk about with self-protection. I know so many people that sell themselves short because they don't want to learn. They've always wanted to maybe be a writer, and yet they give every excuse in the world why they don't just sit down and just put a couple of things, down. And so it's that taking action on whatever the fear is a huge step forward. But do it in baby steps. You don't have to go from 0 to 100 right away. It's like, okay, I know I have an issue. I know this is an area where I lack knowledge. So I'm going to just do step by step. The fear will always still be there, but what they all say, they go, yeah, but now I know what to do.
That's the difference.
And that's the difference. And so fear, if you have fear and you notice a lack of knowledge, that's an opportunity. That's an opportunity to learn.
You talk a lot about social and asocial behavior. Can we talk about that and how you could be able to protect, yourself and trust your own intuition?
The human body, the human evolution is blessed with. We have thousands and thousands of years of nonverbal communication cues in our body that, in this age, we've learned to ignore because we don't want to be, like you said, we don't want to be socially judgmental of somebody or something like that.
Or anything.
Yeah, and you have to embrace that. You have to sit there and start to embrace. I tell people it's okay to be embarrassed. It's okay to do something that might be embarrassing later. If the worst thing is you think you overreacted and you got yourself out of there and you felt bad later, that's good. You want it to be that kind of a mistake rather than the other mistake that people make, which I hear about all the time, is they ignore 2 nonverbal cues and then the act of violence happens. The predator.
And then you really have the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah. It all revolves around the fact of just embracing the totality of you and your communication skills. We tend to only do what you and I are doing right now, just talking back and forth or reading stuff. We don't give as much credence to the nonverbal. And nonverbal is probably our early warning system on a lot of things. And this is where we can motivate ourselves with fear. You have the fear, you have the nonverbal, and you say, something's wrong, I'm going to trust this, I'm just going to leave. Because I have the opportunity right now to get out of here, and I'm just going to do it. Versus, living in the world that we like to live in, where everybody is, we think everybody's fantastic, everybody's, and that's true. There are a lot of great people, and we're living in a time where some of the greatest human achievements are happening right now. But we also are living in a time where predators have had the easiest chance to just take advantage of people. We make that mistake with fear. We override our fear at times, or we don't take action on the fact. Like, there are many times when I've talked to people before, they said, yeah, I always knew I should have studied this X, Y, or Z, because I've had a couple of situations where I realized, oh, hey, if this went bad, I wouldn't know what to do. Right. And that's where you have to, again, engage your fear. Fear can be a great learning tool. It can sit there and point out to you, hey, here's some knowledge that you don't have. You probably should look at this. If this is bothering you to the point to where you're fearful, you probably should engage the subject, not run from the subject. Engage it, learn about it, be part of it. It will still be maybe scary to you, but you'll understand it. You'll understand the components and what works. But you have to face that fear. You have to say, it's okay, I'm willing to look at this subject. I'm willing to learn this. And yeah, I'm talking about self-protection, but people do this in education. They do this on things to make their lives better. A new skill set that could possibly, teach them how to maybe do copywriting, maybe learn marketing, learn some skill set. But they'll let fear stop them in their tracks, rather than use fear as like, hey, I have a fear of this, therefore I'm going to engage it. I would encourage everybody, engage a fear that's not too overwhelming. Start with something that you're scared of, you're a little bit fearful of, but it's not, it's not like a life-threatening situation. Right. It's just, maybe it's a subject matter that you just didn't, you're scared of, or maybe it's a language you wanted to learn. There's no reason to have irrational fear.
So a big takeaway, I think, from this conversation is learn to trust yourself. First of all, when you are in that parking lot and you feel uneasy and somebody is, you feel threatened in a way, then, social norms aside, protect yourself first. Yeah. And also, just fear is a signal to us that if you don't want to freeze, then just prepare for these situations.
My clients oftentimes will make things so much more extreme in our heads,
and exaggerated and everything,
that when the actual event happens, it's easy. It's like, wow, I thought it was going to be a lot worse than this. And I learned that going through a lot of, harsh military training, that I didn't try to think about getting through the whole course. I just get through the day, and then even then we broke it down to meals. We'd say, okay, I'm going to quit, but I'm going to quit at lunch. And then you get at lunch and you have some lunch. You go, okay, now I'm going to quit at dinner, and you just play these games with yourself that then all of a sudden you just realize after a while, now you're comfortable with the subject matter. I mean, I remember one time I was in a military unit that I had to learn a very extreme obstacle course. And it scared the hell out of me, because I tried to do it on my own and I realized, oh my God, there's no way I'll make the times. There's no way I'll do it, because I knew what it was. But I had 6 weeks to prepare. They don't just throw you in. And I took those 6 weeks to go step by step and learn it. And something that really was intimidating to me and scared me, by the end, by having that deliberate approach and just, overcoming my fear of it, 6 weeks later, I was laughing. I was like, I can't believe I was that intimidated by this particular thing, but I made it into something that was, just huge as a young kid, and letting it help you.
This is the kind of thing that, it's you learn here in communication with other people, as we talked about, but also communication with yourself.
Yeah.
And be able to trust that wisdom that's inside.